This is the February 2025 Home Studio Show and Tell. And this is one of my favorite shows. I don't know how many of you have seen past episodes, but this is really cool. Well, other than tonight, every episode we go into the home studios of two voice actors, and they tell us all about their studio. They show and tell us about their studio, and we learn so much. Interestingly, tonight's a little different because one of the voice actors couldn't make it tonight. So we are doing a combo tonight, which is very fun, at least for me, and I hopefully it'll be fantastic for you. We're doing a combo tonight. We have one voice actor on. She is awesome. I'll introduce you in a moment. And we're doing an open Q&A, question and answer on home studios. So, in addition to meeting our fabulous voice actor who has a fabulous studio and does fabulous work, you'll have a chance to ask questions about microphone selection and setup, about acoustics, and about recording software and all sorts of stuff like that. So you should start jotting down any questions you have because you will have the opportunity to ask later. Okay, so I think there is no better time than now to introduce you to Lakeisha. I met Lakeisha, actually,
Yeah.
Lakeisha, I'm not sure when we met. We really began talking a lot about 6 months ago or 8 months ago for the project, but we had met a long time before then, didn't we?
We did. I came to Edge Studio. My voiceover career journey came when I came to New York. It's like, where do you go? I was exploring the field. It had to have been about 2020, I think. I've been connected or affiliated and been enjoying everything that Edge has to offer. So
Oh,
it's
so
a long
cool.
time, but yeah, we've got to be able to talk more closely in the last 6 months or so. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, so cool. So we're going to get to go into Lakeisha's studio. I was talking with someone a couple of days ago about just about this program, not
Mhm.
about tonight specifically, but just this program in general. And they didn't quite get it. And I said to them, "Well, what happens if you went to a friend's house, a party in town, some house you've never been in, some you don't even know the people, right? But you're at a friend's of a friend's of a friend's house, and someone walks up to you and says, 'Hey, by the way, you're a voice actor, right?' And you'd say, 'Yeah.' They'd say, 'Well, the person who lives in this house has a voiceover studio in the basement.' You'd say, 'Wow, that's cool. Let me check it out.' And that's what you get to do tonight. We get to go into Lakeisha's studio and ask her questions. It's not to grill her, it's to learn. She's offered her time for free tonight to share with you how she gets such a professional sound, the trial and errors that she has gone through. So this is a great time to ask her questions. So in a moment, we'll officially switch over to Lakeisha and her studio. We have had a bunch more people come on. I just wanted to repeat the ground rule. Please feel welcome to ask questions out loud. You don't need to raise your hand. You don't need to ask questions in the chat. You can talk them out loud, but please be respectful of everyone. Be quiet on your microphone. If there's any noise in your background, just hit mute. Okay. Shall we get going officially, everyone?
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah,
let's
you're a
do.
quiet group. My goodness.
Let's
I'm getting like
go.
one yep and a couple
Let's
of
do
thumbs up.
this.
Like, let's do a quick shot. Let's get some energy going. Shout
Yeah,
out. What states, what countries are you all
Coming
calling
in
in
from
from?
New
California, Southern
York.
California.
New Orleans.
Carolina,
Colorado.
California,
Connecticut.
California.
Huntington Beach, California.
Ooh,
Tampa, Florida.
I'm from Dominican Republic.
okay.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
South
amazing.
Carolina.
Yeah, very nice.
Amazing.
North
Amazing.
Carolina,
Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All over.
Yeah, and the cool thing is there are voiceover studios everywhere. So cool. Okay, there are two ways to view or three ways actually with Zoom. Three ways to look at the screen. One is to see a little square of everyone, but you can also go to a mode called, and I'm forgetting the name of the mode I'm looking right now, called speaker. If you know how to click onto your modes, click on speaker, and this way, as Lakeisha shows us around her studio, you'll see it in like a much larger picture. If anyone needs help with that, let me know. Lakeisha, take it away. So yeah, Lakeisha's awesome, and
Thanks.
so Lakeisha, tell us a bit about you, about your voiceover, about your studio. Tell us.
I will. So yes, Keisha Jones. I am from Westchester County, New York, small town called Yorktown Heights. I began my voiceover discovery and oh my gosh, some years ago. It started off as just an interest and a hobby. And when I came to New York, I got connected with Edge Studio and I did the trainings. Like, do you think this is a possibility for you? And it's been a journey. I think, as many of us know in our voiceover careers, for some, it's exploratory. We have one foot in, one foot out, and just trying to find our way forward. And most importantly, how do you set it up at home? And there was a lot of trial and error. There was eggshells, there was blankets, I think I've done everything. And the microphones has changed, but over the years, I've come to now like have a space that is comfortable, that's inviting, that I want to be in and can spend some hours in and sit for a while. And it's changed over the different apartments that I've been in Manhattan here now. So being in New York is very challenging because I'm about 2 blocks away from a hospital. You probably heard a little bit of hum. That was my background because my neighbor came in and I think that's her garbage disposal. So I now know when she comes home from work and it's like, okay, this is not the time, or when she's showering in the morning. So we don't see each other often, but I know what she's doing there. My studio is very small. So Manhattan apartments are small. So you have to make the most of the least. And when I was looking for an apartment, it was like, you have to have a walk-in closet. Yes. So in other places, probably throughout the country, the walk-in closet is a very different definition, but I'm going to step back here, and in the room here, I have, let me see here, just switch the mode. I'm going to just show you here now. So this, let's see, are you able to see the?
Now we still see you. Now we see it.
Okay. So
now we see a studio.
So that is your apartment up there. This is my walk-in closet. This is a legit New York City walk-in closet. And that's, great realty there.
Lakeisha, I have to say the coolest thing so far, and by the way, everyone, I've never seen Lakeisha's studio. It's always exciting for me when I know someone for a long time and then I get to see their studio. Lakeisha, I guess it's speakers we're looking at with something in the middle. It looks like an old 1980s boombox. That is so cool.
Thank you. So yes, I have the blankets on here. That is actually just the case for the microphone that I have stuck there. So this is a walk-in closet originally. And so below would have been where you would hang your clothes there and hang above. And I've used the gray cloth packing blankets or moving blankets. After trying different things, this seemed to work best for me. The soundproofing was really good. And so I just hung it over the bars. You can probably see underneath here. So I literally hung it over just the bars there, which were perfectly folded to the 3 inches. That is great for soundproofing. And I put the speakers in here, typically to be out on the desk. And then, so it's my storage space and also recording space here. And I think no matter how small your space is just what you can do with it. And then of course, if there's probably boxes and things that I had, and I just covered it all the way up to the ceiling. I'm just going to show you this here. Yeah.
Before you go further, I do need to interject with one thing. You
Yes.
mentioned that I just want to make sure everyone is clear on something. Lakeisha mentioned that the blankets are soundproofing the studio. I think more so it's sound dampening the studio,
Yes.
right?
Sound dampening.
Because I think there are typically some people on these calls who are really sort of new to the home studio thing. And so let me just talk very briefly about the difference between soundproofing and sound dampening, or sound absorption may be a better term for the sound dampening.
Yeah.
We have 2 concerns when we record in the voiceover industry. One, you definitely don't want noise like ambulances, probably out 2 blocks away from Lakeisha's place, right? You don't want ambulance sirens and your neighbor's garbage disposal. You don't want that other noise on your microphone. To get rid of noise, you need to soundproof. To soundproof is really tough. It's almost impossible in a New York City apartment. Our studios in New York City are soundproofed, but we have a big space. Our walls are about a foot thick. Our walls are made of 6 different layers with special caulking and air gaps in between and all sorts of stuff. To truly soundproof a small home studio is sort of challenging and almost impossible.
Yeah.
So what most voice actors do is when the siren goes by or the neighbors have the garbage disposal, you just don't record. You break for a minute. Now, sound dampening or sound absorption is when you layer your space with foam or blankets, or moving blankets, or anything soft that soaks up the sound waves. That means that these soft surfaces, the blankets in Lakeisha's studio, are eating up or absorbing the sound waves. So when she speaks, her voice doesn't bounce off the walls. Instead, they get soaked up into the blankets, and there's no echo in the room. So she has material that absorbs the sound. That's sound absorption. We also call it sound dampening. I think the blankets, like Keisha, look great. I almost every studio is foam, right? The foam walls.
Yes.
This really looks different. And if you have 3-inch blankets and it's going over the bar, that means you have 6 inches. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Wow.
Right. So when looking online and trying to see like what should you use foam? One of the issues that I had is trying out different things in an apartment. I can't put things onto the wall like adhesive or use really heavy things to secure. So what I use is actually just a staple gun, like a really heavy duty one, like a power staple gun. And since these were so thick, had to go underneath and then attach it, and then it could fold over. But they come perfectly folded in the depth that would help dampen. And it's probably been the best bass out of the ones I've recorded in before for keeping the background noise.
So tell us,
yeah.
on if you look up,
yes,
and on the left wall, yeah. So there it's lower. Are you wrapping around a beam or something?
Oh, right up there is just some boxes that I had from moving. And so since I need to keep them someplace here, I just have that there. But otherwise it goes all the way up. And yes, that's actually behind my, let me see it there. So all the way at the top above where this fold is here, is a shelf. And then behind there is storage that I have. So for keeping boxes and things that I'm not using and don't need at this time. So it actually creates a nice depth of it. It's mostly cardboard boxes back there, which adds some additional dampening. On top
It does, yeah. That acts as a bass trap.
Look at that. See?
Which is great, yeah. So if anyone wants to know, the sound waves of bass tend to kind of congeal in the corners of studios. They get like your corners sometimes sound very bass heavy or muffled sounding. And so a lot of voice actors will use a bass trap, which is just a big piece of foam or a big round blanket or something, and stuff, or pillows even, and stuff them in the corner. And Lakeisha, that's what you have created here, our bass traps. Especially if you fill those boxes with something soft, that is a terrific bass trap.
Yeah, and it has just some old, I think it's like either sweaters or things that I'm not using, old blankets, old pillows that I was just like, I just don't have space for. So did it unintentionally, but I guess it's working out. But
yeah, that's great. So show us your equipment. Let's see.
Okay,
What do you have?
sure.
Your microphone, and what software do you use? Yeah, walk us through it all.
Okay, here we go.
Where do you keep your clothes?
Oh, yes. So my clothes, there's a closet out in the hallway there. So I do use that. And then I do have a clothing rack out here, but mostly my clothes are hung in the hallway closet. It makes you streamline very quickly. It's like, don't need as many coats and things like that. So everything is hung in the other closet. Okay, so let's go through here. And it is small here, so please tell me if I'm too tight in something or you need to back up a little bit. But it's cozy. So here I have the AKG microphone here with the shock mount. And then I have the pop filter. Something here that I got sucked into when I was looking for equipment is this purple halo filter here. Not sure, but I was so fascinated and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks really cool. And I want to try it out and let's go for it. And so that was a purchase that I wasn't super knowledgeable on, but just was like, I think I need this in my voiceover career. So it's a lot of fun.
Before you go further, let me step back. Someone had a terrific comment. This is from Terry. Oh, hey, Terry. He wrote, the blankets almost look like shingles. And it's true, they do. It's a great look.
Yeah.
Someone wrote, staple gun is what I use for Auralex foam. Auralex is a company that makes a lot of sound dampening foam. Okay. Quick question. So I cannot, tell us what model mic, what model AKG is that?
This one here is the P220.
Okay.
It's I've had it for a while.
Okay, that's great. The shock mount is super helpful. It's probably not necessary, but a really nice touch. Just on the off chance that there's any vibrations in your studio, maybe from a subway or something, or the garbage disposal upstairs.
Yeah.
That will help a lot. The screen is great. The purple thing, that shield.
Yes.
What is that made of? It looks like rubber, but I'm assuming it's not rubber, is it?
No, it's not rubber. It's actually a nice hardcore, almost like a foam, but it's pretty dense. It's almost like hollow in the middle, but it's the Aston Halo filter that you put right behind it. And I had it at a different location first because it was all wood. And I was like, maybe I think I needed some more some buffering when that place wasn't covered as much. But in here, yeah, so it's hollow. I like it. I'm not sure if I have seen like a significant difference. People haven't said with the use of it or without it, but it works.
So is it
And the weird thing though is like I have to then attach my scripts here because it takes up the space behind the mic where an individual may put a screen or a tablet.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So a
Yeah.
couple of things. Is that soft enough that it soaks up your voice?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. So this would be, everyone, this would be super handy if you, for some reason, are in some type of situation where your voice goes forward into the microphone, and not all of your voice will stop at the microphone, right? Your voice will pass the microphone, some of it, bounce off of a wall and come back.
Mm-hmm.
And this will stop that. That will stop a fair amount of that, which is terrific. But yeah, I was thinking like
Yeah.
you can't read off of a screen like that. So
No, and that's been an ongoing challenge with this. But before when I was in some place, I had a lot of wood paneling in front of me and I just couldn't cover it all. It helped, but I did find, practicing a lot beforehand. And then it is soft enough that I can put it in there I can secure it with these little
oh,
push
good.
pins and it's okay. And I have here, the pop filter to go in front here. There we go,
Okay, which is great.
which is perfect there.
Okay.
So this here also helps because usually when I'm standing for long, I can raise up the stand that it's on. It's just a standard like $25 microphone stand here. It'll raise up. But if I'm sitting down for a long time, this can come down. And this is an adjustable desk. It's small here, but it helps when there's the longer reads, but enough space so I can stand too. Here I have the SSL2 audio interface. This was a wonderful game changer in the very beginning. Working without it before, as soon as you plug it in, you just recognize the difference there. And that has the USB connection right into the computer here.
Okay. So is that interface XLR and USB? Does it offer both?
This one here, back here, offers.
Yeah, we can see you're using an XLR there.
Yes.
And then you go, then it's a USB out into your computer?
Correct.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
I just want to also stop here. There are two questions I want to respond to.
Sure.
Someone asked about carpeting on the ground, and someone asked about doing any sound treatment on the ceiling. So let's talk about that for a second. The worst case scenario for anyone recording is to have opposite hard surfaces. If your floor is hard and your ceiling is hard, that means that any sound in your space, from your voice when you record a script, any voice that hits the floor is going to bounce up. I'm going to get my hand on the screen. Any sound will hit the floor, will bounce and hit the ceiling, will bounce back to hit the floor, will bounce back and hit the ceiling. And that is very fast echo. And very fast echo is called reverb or reverberation. Reverb is technically a super fast echo. It's when the echo is so fast that you can't distinguish between the repeats, then it's called reverberation, or we call it reverb. And that reverb, when it's on two opposite surfaces, like ceiling to floor or floor to ceiling, as it bounces back and forth, is called flutter echo. That echo goes back and forth like, and that's like the worst thing you could do. So you have to make sure at minimum you treat opposing walls. At least have carpeting on the floor if you can't do anything on the ceiling, or at least put foam on the ceiling if you can't put carpeting on the floor. It is way better to do both. Way, way better. And to the person who asked about the question, they said, do you need to soundproof your ceiling if you don't have anyone upstairs? I talked about that earlier. I don't think you can really soundproof, right? To soundproof, you would need ceilings that are 2 feet thick and lots of layers and stuff. That's not really practical. You should at least, though, sound treat or put sound absorption material on your ceiling. Absolutely. That's not done only because of people who may be upstairs. That is done so you don't get echo. Okay, let's see some more.
And I did. I had a carpet in here, just a thin one that was from a store, but I took it out. I was replacing it. It had gotten, I think, like a dog had been on it, so it had gone in there. So yes, I did have a carpet on the floor though, and that helped quite a bit there. Okay, let's see over here. Then I have the Yamaha speakers here, and these are ones that were suggested to me when I just gone into the store. And the same thing, it came with the headphones when I first was getting everything set up. So the shock mount and the microphone and all these pieces all came around the same time. There's like, you should have everything here. For my, let me see, what I'm using as what I'm using online is typically, I still stick a little bit with GarageBand or with, and then I also do, let me see the other interface there. Uh, is Source Connect when people are actually going to be dialing in for that, and Audacity. So I've been kind of like working with those. I haven't jumped over a lot into some of the other programs that are there. They've worked enough so far, but looking forward to diving in and like mastering.
You
The
know what? A lot of people use Audacity. Not too many people use GarageBand.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just started, and then kind of Audacity. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, Audacity is super popular in the industry. And for anyone who's looking for recording software, we call it digital audio workstations. That's the officially what the recording software is called. And
Mhm.
no one wants to take the time to say digital audio workstation, so we call it by the acronym DAW or DAW. And if you go with a popular DAW, it's great because there are user groups and YouTube videos, and it's easy to get help on that stuff. There was a question that came in. Oh, no, actually, also from Terry. Thank you, Terry. Lakeisha, you should download the chat before we're done. Everyone should download the chat because
Oh yeah.
there will probably be interesting information in it. Lakeisha, Terry wrote that he left a link saying this may be useful for recording your scripts. Terry, do you mind? Terry, can you come on and tell us briefly what does that link go to?
Yeah, it goes to basically a clamp stand for your, it's actually what my microphone is on right now, except before, instead of a microphone, it's for tablets. So
Oh,
you can just get like a little, a Kindle or something, and you can pull your scripts up on that,
perfect.
and then you can have them at eye level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll try that there.
Yep.
Terry is another amazing voice actor.
Yes, yeah. I guess, well,
Thanks,
Your
Dave.
your beard's looking great there too, by the way. It's bigger than last time I saw it.
Yeah,
Hey,
got a little growth going.
I like it. It's good. Okay,
hey,
so like
hey, Terry, real quick, can you explain that again? That's like a clip for an iPad or anything, like a
Yes,
paper script or.
any kind of tablet up to 12 inches. It's
Okay, do you have
adjustable.
one there?
here, I just clicked it.
I
I'm going to
can't
share my
show it, but
screen.
yeah, I do.
I actually have one in my room that I'm building as we speak.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
everyone, look.
yes, right.
I just Terry uploaded the link into the chat. You can all download the chat. If you don't know how to do that, I'm happy to tell you how to do that, or you copy and paste it. I just clicked the link that he gave me, and this is it.
And it's pretty cheap.
Wow.
I
Okay,
like
so it's
that.
like, wow. Okay, cool. Is that
Yeah.
like an Amazon thing? Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And affordable. Right on. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I definitely like having is like looking up a little bit and then kind of looking down. That's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's
That boom
looks
arm
like
is
there are
really
two models.
wonderful.
Yeah, the arm, right? Yeah.
Let's see. There's a
Yes,
second
I
model.
actually have one that's a little bit smaller than that. I'm trying to get to it in a moment. It's attached to my soundproof booth, but it is
Ooh.
perfect.
Whoever said that, do you want to take a show us quickly? Do you want to come on and show us? That's what this is all about.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm trying to get my.
Give me a
it
second. Let
looks
me take
like
my
the
pajamas off and put on some clothes quickly. And
it looks like
There
the
we go.
second model can go upside down as well because it has the screw mount. But the first one looked like it was gravity mount.
yeah, when I click the second one, the words don't change.
I don't know if y'all
Right.
can see this.
Oh yes.
Oh wait,
Yes.
let's go. Wait, who is that? Who's showing
Oh,
us something right now? Who is that?
Sarah.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, thank you so much, Sarah. Let's see what you have
I'm
here.
literally in front of the room that I'm making right now, but this attaches to the bar of my soundproof booth. So I have it above me and it's going to hold my tablet perfectly. I
Oh,
got it
that's
from
great.
Amazon.
That's terrific.
That's great. Yeah, I think.
It was less than $20. Best investment next to everything else I've done already.
That is great.
Yeah.
Everyone, just always be aware that the larger the monitor in front of you, the more chance you have of your voice bouncing back off of the monitor back into the microphone. So it's so cool. I've seen studios with two big monitors, two big, rather two big screens right in front of them, but you get a lot of echo. You can get a lot of echo, so you have to be careful. A lot of people will put, to counteract the screens, the large screens in front of them, they'll take a blanket or a towel and they'll fold it up and put that over their desk. So at least the wood base of their desk is not bouncing around sound. Lakeisha, let's go back to
I
you
like
here.
that. Yeah, I actually need to add that. I said I could put a blanket over this one here, even though it's a small one. It still would help. Let's see what else is there to. Yeah, usually I'll keep my I think having everything as set up as possible. So usually I would have like a smaller, let me go back in here, screen here for sure. That was just something I learned, is like just record and then like come outside to the main desk and put on the bigger screens and do any type of editing that needs to take place.
So, Lakeisha, I think what would be really interesting is for people to hear just a little bit about Audio Doc. Can you talk about that for a bit?
Sure,
The
absolutely.
Audio Doc is super cool, guys. Listen to this.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna do this. Let's do this. So okay, I'm gonna sit down here and I'm gonna switch over. Thank you, everyone. That's a little tight. And
Oh, you know what? And one other thing, a small studio can get hot.
yes, and that's
Do you
what you
bring-
see. I'm like, okay, it's warming up now in here.
Yeah, do you bring a fan in with you when you record? I mean, not that you can run a
I
fan when you're
don't.
recording, but in between takes or something?
I will. I have to crack the door. It gets very warm in here. So it's great sometimes, like in the wintertime, it's like it's not too bad, but in the summertime, it does get a little bit unbearable, and I just have to. It's yeah, shorts, tank top, whatever can kind of get you through. Because it does heat up very fast, and so the less equipment in here, the better. So I try to have paper in here or the tablet versus the laptop even.
Are your lights LED or incandescent?
No, this one is actually just a regular, regular light bulb, closet light bulb that's up there.
Okay, if you go LED, it won't produce as much heat.
Yes. Oh, that's true. And one thing that I did, hold on a second, I'll show you this if I have it. I have a, one second here. Let me see if
And someone is asking a question here. Is it hot in your closet during the summer?
Yes.
Evidently, you have not been in a small recording room. Even winter, a small
Even
recording
winter.
room gets hot.
Yeah.
To the person who asked that question. Yeah, when you're closed off in a small booth that's all soundproofed or sound dampened rather, they tend to get really hot. You're fine if you record a short commercial or even a short corporate narration or a short video or something, but if you are narrating along a typical audiobook, which is 10 and a half hours long, nonfiction, average book, a fiction rather, average fiction is 10 and a half hours, and you're recording 3 or 4 hours at a time, those rooms get real hot. So you'll have to bring in a fan in between takes here, crack the door like Keisha does. Someone else is writing, there's also a free prompter software you can download as well to your laptop or desktop. Yeah, I've seen those. That's so cool. I've been using it for 2 weeks and really beginning to like it. Wow, that's great. Cool. Okay. So tell us about Audio Doc, and then we have to do a Q&A.
I'll use this sometimes. I'll get one of these clock lights here when it gets like really warm and I know I'm going to be going through the evening a little bit. This is fine as well. And so I'll put this on and turn it off. Yeah, that'll help though.
Oh, that's great.
Take down the heat. Yes, so Audio Doc. It's an exciting project that Dave and I have been chatting about here. So my background is in public health. I've been in that field for about 15 years and also been in the voiceover space. And just as going along, realize that we were talking to people that they were really having this barrier to information, either because of digital barriers or because like print was just not as accessible to them, either preferred or they just had visual impairment, they were blind, a variety of reasons. So Audio Doc is being created. It's going to be more of like a publication platform where we are going to be recording technical information, especially around, let's say, science, technology, engineering, math, all of that information that is more technical and you need for work or professional advancement, and putting it into audio format. And it's just the same way that you would see ebooks or people like those audiobooks, is like we're doing it just for like the more technical information. So Dave and I have been talking about that, of how to bring this to life, how to make critical information that people need on a day-to-day basis to stay informed, to make decisions, just to make information more accessible to everyone. So that is in the works, and I'm glad this year to get back and to work on it more and give all the updates to David on what's taking place.
Yeah, it's a really exciting audio or voiceover project that Keisha, a company that
Yeah.
she's begun, and it's looking to be great.
Yes.
Lakeisha, this was great to see your studio, and I want to make sure we have enough time for a home studio Q&A, but I want to make sure everyone knows that Q&A can extend to Lakeisha. So if you have questions for Lakeisha, you can ask out loud. I know everyone is using the chat right now, so I'm trying to look at it, but you can ask out loud questions for Lakeisha or for me for general home studio whatever, like I said earlier, microphone selection, setup, equipment, software, anything like that, acoustics. And there are so many great people on this call
Yeah,
that if Lakeisha and I don't have the answers, I'm sure someone else does. Terry Briscoe. he,
Yes.
he has all the answers. He does. He's good. There's a bunch of people who really know a lot here. So ask away, everyone. This is a great chance to ask Lakeisha or me or anyone questions.
I got a question about
Probably the
headphones.
most basic
Yes,
question.
headphones.
Headphones. Okay.
Yeah, because these squeak, and that you can hear it when you're recording. If my jaw moves, this moves, I get squeaks.
I agree. Mine as well is the size of it, and I didn't realize that. It's just like, oh, you go in and you get a set of headphones here, but if as I'm talking, like it's hitting my jaw here, and it does squeak, like just that little bit that's there. It makes it can throw things off, and then end up just taking them off, yeah, or having just one ear on, yeah.
Yesterday, I had a conversation with someone, and I said, "When I die, you bury me with these. These are going with me wherever I go. If they
Where
burn
are
me up
they?
and feed me to sharks, yeah, they're not even the best headphones. They're Audio Technica MT50s. I think the MT50s, they're good, but they're nothing special. But I know them really well. I know the sound really well. So it's pretty common for engineers and mixers like myself. I'm not a voice actor, I'm a director. It's pretty common for people like me who are on this side of the business to take their sound source, speakers or headphones, wherever they go, because I know what they sound like. They're also at this point formed to my ears. they, like they're no longer they round, they're ear shaped. They really are. Let me just say, I think they're MT50s.
Yeah.
And they're quiet, but you do have to find headphones which are quiet.
Mhm.
They are
They're good.
ATH M50. ATH M50.
HHM50. Okay.
They're comfortable.
ATH M50, yes. So yeah, you do have to find. So here's the thing. If you're looking to purchase headphones, here would be the list. Make sure they are comfortable because at times you will wear them for long periods of time. Make sure they go over your ears, completely over your ears. Don't go by earbuds or anything that kind of sticks out of your ear or anything like that. Make sure they are either called professional grade or studio grade or broadcast grade. That means that the frequency response is flat. That's the sort of the alternate would be consumer headphones, consumer grade. Consumer headphones are made to make music theoretically sound better. They pump up the treble, they pump up the bass, and all that's great and fun if you're listening to music, but not for us. Make sure you have no noise reduction, or at least if there's noise reduction built in, you can turn it off. That would be key. So let's see if we have everything. Quiet, over the ear, comfortable, flat frequency response, no noise reduction. Anyone else think of anything else that should be on professional headphones? The quiet is a key thing. Make sure you can change the adapter.
Yeah.
The plug at the end, or you can always buy adapters, but you want something that doesn't. The more adapters you go through, the more chance you have of things crapping out. So, if anyone can think of anything else to add to that, make sure the wire is long enough that when you record and you plug the wire into the source, the wire doesn't have to swing back and forth and hit things. We hear a lot of auditions, and you should all be careful about this. We hear auditions, and you hear like a click, 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 and you know that the wire is just kind of bouncing back and forth while the voice actor's kind of doing their thing. So just make sure the wire is long enough.
Okay, I got one follow-up then, because I use one of those arms, the extending arms for the microphone, but sometimes because I'm vibrating, then I'm hearing the metal vibrate, the spring or some of the other parts start to actually resonate. And I'm wondering if anybody has a suggestion of something for that.
Wrap it in foam.
Just wrap it in foam.
Easiest thing, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Questions?
What about
Do
What
I
about a
wireless?
pool
actually
noodle?
need speakers or
Speakers are great sometimes, but you can't really hear as accurately with speakers. That's the thing. You can use headphones to listen. Sorry, use speakers if you want to listen back to your recording to take a break. If you are reviewing your script and you just want to make sure your words are said correctly, fine, go with speakers. But if you're listening for someone upstairs with a garbage disposal, a siren in the background, mouth noise, words which are kind of your editing is kind of sloppy and you cut off a breath or something, that's almost impossible to hear with speakers. You need headphones.
Okay.
So yeah, so most engineers are wearing headphones most of the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, like I said, not earbuds or anything like that. They just don't quite do the trick. So I had a list of 5 or 6 things before that I had for good quality headphones. Another thing, make sure they're good quality headphones, not just in addition to having the features that I mentioned, make sure they're really pretty good. You should be spending a minimum 50 or 70, $75 on headphones. If you buy less expensive headphones, they probably don't have the quality to reproduce the very high end frequencies and the very low end frequencies, and you'll miss things. And I'll tell you a great story about this. There's a voice actor in the city who called me about probably 2 or 3 years ago. She's fabulous. She's been around for a long time, full-time pro for a long time. She called me up and said, David, something is up. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not winning auditions anymore. It just stopped. I said, okay, well, send me an audition. Let me review and see what's going on. We didn't know, like, did she go away on vacation and she picked up a weird accent? Did her microphone break and like she's getting a buzz or something? I listened to her recording and I called her up and I said, there's a subway in the background. I can hear it like in your entire background of your audition. And so she was using less expensive headphones that weren't quality enough to reproduce the very base frequencies. And she said, well, it makes sense because she just moved to a different apartment that was over a subway. She said, but she couldn't hear it with her headphones. And I said, yeah, you can't hear it with your headphones, but I hear it with my headphones. So you need to hear what you're sending to clients. They
I
may
need
have
to
good headphones.
upgrade.
They will hear all that stuff.
Okay.
Wow.
I definitely need to upgrade that. I got these little cheap Sony ones. I need to get some better ones soon.
Yeah, and they may work great for most things, but it's like the very low end stuff you may not hear. Like you may not hear popping with that, or
What about
sibilance. Like those
what
are the
about
things, the
wireless?
details you may miss. Okay, questions for me, for like Keisha, for anyone.
Yes. Do you have a brand recommendation for the headphones?
Yeah, there's a lot of good brands out there. Sony makes some great headphones. Audio-Technica makes some great headphones. I mean, there really are a bunch of good brands. I would go more by how comfortable they are and making sure they have all the features we talked about. But if anyone has any recommendations, call it out. I mean, someone's writing Biodynamic. Yeah, they make some good headphones too. I've seen over the years. I'm not certain. So to anyone who works at Biodynamic, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think they make some lower end stuff and some higher end stuff. And so just make sure you buy the higher end stuff. If anyone knows that for sure, spit it out. Let us know. Talk out loud. Someone said Tascam well, Tascam. I haven't seen Tascam in a long time. I used to have Tascam reel-to-reel decks. Oh my goodness. Sennheiser makes some good headphones. Questions? Anyone?
I think like you said, it's like as long as they're comfortable and you just try them on and go into the store and you can plug in and listen and just like, okay, this is what I like. I think it's just like some personal preference in there too. To get too caught up on like, oh my gosh, is it gonna do something miraculous or not? Is what you're comfortable with and what you're comfortable having on for a long period of time. And you just like them,
Yeah, you will definitely wear them for a while.
yeah.
I have a
Wireless
question.
headphones.
Oh yeah, there's some chat in the
Wireless
chat.
headphones. I'm one of I can't stand wires, but at the same time I stick with wires because I feel like it's just one less thing to go wrong. So, I don't know. I prefer wires.
I like the wire too. Let's see.
I lost fidelity on wireless. Total loss of fidelity.
Yeah, it's just one more thing you have to, charge and keep track of.
Ring light. Let's see.
I have a
Every
question.
time you have something else with batteries, there's the concern that when you're in a session with a client, like Keisha uses Source Connect to connect with her clients, and at our studios we have Source Connect, we have IPTTL, and a couple of other technologies to connect remotely to connect with clients. The more that is wireless, the more batteries and issues we have. So we are almost completely wired. It seems old school, but I don't know, it just works better. It's just more trusting. We are more trusting of our equipment. Someone wrote, I may have missed it, but did you say what areas of voiceover you mostly work in? Lakeisha, that's to you.
Yes. So mostly work in education. Again, it's like education, professional. Let me see, e-documents. That has been the majority, but I've also picked up a couple commercials there for like Palmer's or American Express. So I think being open to stepping outside of it has been exciting as well and testing out some new spaces. But the majority, just from what I kind of been getting into naturally, has been the professional scripts, corporate. Audio books have been there as well, but predominantly, yeah, more the e-learning space. Mm-hmm.
Okay, someone is asking for recommendations for a silent PC. It's a great question. Any recommendations, anyone?
My Mac doesn't have a fan. I saw that in there. Don't worry about that.
I have a Victus HP gaming laptop that's been doing me really proud.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
recommend taking your laptop out of your booth completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people either take the laptop out and use a remote source inside, like a remote keyboard and remote mouse, or they build a little sort of like an igloo, like made of carpeting or foam around the computer. There are I know some voice actors, a few voice actors who shut the fan off when they record. You can typically go into your system and shut off the fan. That's a little worrisome to me. I use a Microsoft Surface that doesn't have a fan. Most of the time, it doesn't have a fan running. But then again, I'm not really typically recording. I'm not a voice actor. So, any tablets? Anyone use tablets? Because tablets don't have fans.
Yeah.
No, solid state's the best thing. If you get a solid state, don't mess with fans.
Yeah, and if you have a tablet or something, then you can scroll with your fingers, which is nice, right? In the old days, 20 years ago, we used to deal with paper. So an audiobook recording could have 1,000 pages, which meant 1,000 times the voice actor had to move a piece of paper, and that meant 1,000 more edits. I mean, that's a big amount of work right there. So, going to tablets is great.
I use I have my laptop outside of my booth because, like you said, the fan. So I use I remote in, but then I have a really loud clicky keyboard. So I would love to have a really quiet keyboard, which would enable me to pause, because I do long form narration. So it would enable me to pause, to breathe, but I can't because it's so loud. The P key is so loud you can hear it. So I just have to cover that up anyway. I wondered if anybody has a recommendation for a really quiet keyboard. I've
Anyone?
Googled it, but like a million things come up.
Hey, Sadie.
Hey.
Anyone? Quiet keyboard?
Proto Arc is a pretty quiet keyboard that I've been playing with.
Proto Arc.
Yeah, Proto Arc, ARC.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Is it really quiet or just pretty quiet?
I'm typing away right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
That's good, yeah.
You can hear it there a little bit. I'm just whacking at the keyboard right now.
Who's that saying that? That's Trevor. What kind of mic are you on? Are you on a shotgun?
No, I'm just on a large condenser, the NT1.
Oh, wow. So if you're not even on a shotgun and we don't hear it, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can really go ham on it, but rather not.
And like you connect it to a USB port.
Yeah, this one's actually just completely Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, I just do Bluetooth. And another, going back to it, I have a Mac Mini, which is a solid state, and it's a very economical, cheap, just solid state computer, no fan or anything like that. They're a couple $100. It's like a wannabe full-size desktop computer, but it seems to work.
They work great. They're fast. And the nice thing for all of us in this industry is you're dealing typically with one track of voice. Whereas, in our studios, we use Pro Tools, but we're layering multiple tracks. You're dealing with one track as the voice actor. So the Mac Minis really work well.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
You're a fan of not having a fan.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I'm a fan of no fan.
More questions? Anyone? For anyone in the group? For Keisha? For me?
Yes.
And I bought really long cords for this. So the interface and use the laptop will be on the desk outside. I brought everything in here to see it, but it can stretch all the way out there. It's better and it helps there. So
Yeah, a whole lot of voice actors do their editing outside of the booth.
Yeah.
Just because it's cooler. And sometimes nice to, have windows or light or something. So that's very common.
I have a silly question.
Oh,
yes, Eve.
If you have your recording set up so that your computer is outside and you're using a remote keyboard and a remote mouse, what do you do for your screen?
I have a separate monitor.
I have a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Or
okay.
a long USB cable.
Mm-hmm. I try not to focus too much on the screen while recording and just kind of go, and then we'll take a break and step out and then deal with it instead of kind of just try to stay with the script as much as possible without the.
Oh, okay.
But like
Does
Keisha, you're
anybody-
printing. Oh, sorry, but like Keisha, you're printing your. Do you typically print your scripts?
Yeah, I'll typically print it and I'll have that in front of me. Yes, exactly. I'll have the scripts up there. But for any type of monitoring editing, I'll do that outside. I won't do that or be looking at how it's flowing while I'm recording. I'll step out and then
So
focus.
then you just mark your pickups and come back in and
I have enough space there for different thing, and then I know there's kind of that natural space, and I'll mark it instead of trying to do both at the same time. And it just kind of keeps in the zone a little bit as well, instead of being down and doing something technical and then getting back into the space again. So I like the separation if it can.
Does anybody have any preference to standing as opposed to sitting when delivering their auditions? I am brand newbie to the whole field. I'm just curious.
Depends on the genre. If you're
And
doing
how long,
long form
probably, right?
narration, you do not want to be trying to stand doing long form narration because you might die. But if you're doing character
Really?
work, you want to be able to move and so standing up is a little bit better of an option. But then again, there are people, like I have multiple sclerosis and I have something called a Lhermitte sign, and my screen is down here, so I need to actually get that thing that I sent you because I had to get a new one. But when I have to duck my head to read my scripts, it messes me up like a big time. So I kind of just sit on the edge of I push my chair way back and I kind of sit on the edge of my chair, like almost like I'm kneeling and doing it. But yeah, you want to definitely get that blood flow going if you're going to be doing some high energy character work. Most of the directors are gonna want you to stand. From my experience, when you're doing that kind of work, video games or like animation.
Makes sense.
There are some other considerations. What everyone is saying is right on. Other considerations, the biggest one, the type of microphone you have. Because if you are on a shotgun microphone, which is a much more pinpointed pickup pattern, meaning that it picks up what's directly in front of it and sort of rejects your voice if you move to the left or to the right or anything like that. If you're standing, you're more inclined to be moving around a lot, like I'm standing right now, right? Now, I'm not on a shotgun microphone, but if I was on a shotgun microphone, as I move around, my voice would be going in and out a lot more than it is right now. So if you have to use a shotgun microphone because your space is noisy and you're trying to reject other noise like garbage disposals and whatever, then standing up could be hard because you'll have to really stand still, and that could be challenging. So there's that consideration also.
Project dependent. Got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I sit on one of our taller bar stools that we don't use. And that's been perfect because I can sit high. Like as a singer, you don't want to be slunched over. Neither do I want to be that way if I'm trying to get good air. So I think you just have to sit in a way that you can get enough.
So you're not crunching on your diaphragm.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that is important.
The other thing is using your hands, which can sometimes really change what the character is that you're giving voice to. So if you're standing up, you can move around with your hands, whereas if you're sitting down, you get a little more constricted. So I found that standing really helps with that.
Yeah, if you move your hand, great. That is David. Great, super good thought, David. Because as the director, when I'm directing voice actors who are sitting and they are recording something that does require the movement, their shirts are louder. Because as they're moving their hands, like I'm not sure if you can hear this, but like that noise, you hear that, right, everyone?
Yeah.
You get more of that noise because they're sitting. They are more squeezed together. If they're standing, their hands can be out. So it's usually quieter if they stand. So yeah, there are a bunch of considerations.
There's a bunch when you're trying to record and then you go back and you're listening to your takes and you're like, what is that noise?
Like the shirt or something, right?
And like 9 times out of 10, it's just your shirt.
Oh yeah.
Or your
a voice actor in this.
Your earrings bumping onto your headphones.
Yeah, I have 2 funny stories. One is there's a voice actor who I haven't seen in a while actually, but he has a great voice and he records long form. When he records, he has a nervous twitch or something and his foot taps the floor. A lot of people do that. They kind of bounce all the time, but their foot's like, at a desk, but it's loud. You get this during the recording. And over the years, I've seen directors say, "Can you stop the foot?" And he'll say, "Yeah." And it'll stop for about 10 seconds, and then It starts up again. So we have him record with no shoes, and we bring in those like extra carpeting so it's soft at least. The other is I was recording something for, I think it was the American Cancer Society. It's many, many years ago. Or Arthritis Foundation, whatever it was. It was the head of that foundation, the chairman of that foundation came in to record a short video. This guy had the starchiest shirt imaginable. As he was in front of the microphone, it was so loud. This is a lesson to everyone. Don't wear starched shirts, right? And so like this noise, like that noise was like multiplied. And so he ended up having to record without a shirt on. Because he was about 10 times the size of me, and that's not the point of the story. But like like if I had an extra shirt hanging around, it wouldn't fit him. So he had to record with no shirt on because it was so loud. So yeah, you need to make sure like Sandy mentioned, like earrings. Don't wear earrings or watches that kind of make jingly noise, or starched shirts, nylon running suits. I mean, avoid all that stuff. Soft cotton, flannel. That's the way to go.
Puffy vests.
Puffy.
Those are the worst.
Yeah,
Puffy, yeah,
George
with all the
Costanza
pockets.
suit.
And keep your face close to your body, like just for more form-fitting clothes.
Oh yeah.
Top ending. It's definitely if this is here and you have the trying to have this kind of like looped or away from the body, because this definitely always hits, and you'll get all the way to the end, especially like a long version. Like, what is that? It's like, and it's the cord of the headphones.
Yeah, like Keisha, that's a great point. I see so many voice actors come into the studio to record at in our studios, and when we give them headphones, they look to see left, right, and they kind of go back and forth, so they get the left on the left ear and the right side on the right ear. That is meaningless because you're always, as a voice actor, you're recording mono, meaning it's one channel. So what's in the left and the right are absolutely identical. So if you wear the left headphone on the right ear or the right headphone on the left ear, it sounds the exact same. What you should be doing and focusing on is making sure that the wire is less noisy. Have the wire at the side of your body, yes, like Keisha's saying, or behind you. Yeah, whatever is the quietest is what you need to do, and not worry about left and right.
Yeah, you typically throw it behind. It should be long enough to still to connect then. So, but it's been the.
Okay, we have 4 minutes. Let's get some good questions.
Yes, to wear or not to wear headphones when you're recording.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I can take that, of course, but does anyone have any thoughts on that? And then I'll share my thoughts.
No headphones for me.
Definitely, yes.
Tell you no headphones, but
always wear them.
sometimes.
So Terry, if you are going without headphones, and then you're doing a remote session, so how do you hear your clients when they are directing you?
When you're doing a remote session, you have to have the headphones on. That's just a part of the game. But I feel like I get a more natural read when I'm doing things without my headphones than I am listening to myself talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so that's why some people wear one headphone on and one headphone off, right? You've seen people do that. I don't like that practice because I feel like you get the sound, you can get feedback more easily, right? Because the sound of your voice is in the headphone, but one headphone is not on your ear, so it's leaking out and it can theoretically get back onto the microphone. I think it's great when you are training to become a voice actor, to be adaptable, because you never know what a client needs. I would practice some sessions with headphones on and some with the headphones off, and be adaptable, be flexible. So if you have a client-directed session, so you need to hear your clients from wherever they are in the world, and they say, read it again with more smile, or read it slower, or read it more quickly, you hear them in your headphones and you can read. And a lot of people say the first time they hear their voice through the processing gear, through the microphone and the gear, they say, oh, it sounds weird, it sounds different, it's hard to read. Get used to it. Because you'll have situations when the client is directing you and you have to have headphones on. So Terry, if you can go back, you're a pro at this, so you can go back and forth. You can do it either way, with or without headphones, and that's where all of you should be.
Thank you.
This helps, not a distraction. Actually, hearing my voice on the outside is kind of like, it distracts me too much. So having the headphones on, it helps to kind of just, like listening to yourself and hearing yourself is just, it can throw off a bit. So the headphones help in that sense. So I get it.
And if you want to do quick playback or check something, then it's easy. Okay, we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. I can look at the chat. There's 10 more messages since I last looked. Someone wrote, "Shall we exchange socials?" Hey, if anyone wants to write their socials on the chat, go for it, because in a few minutes we'll be done. And remember, this chat will disappear when the Zoom session ends. That's how Zoom works. The chat is gone. So download the chat if you want. At the top of the chats, somewhere toward the very top of your chat screen, there are 3 horizontal dots, like an ellipsis. If you click that, you should have an option to download. And while some of you maybe are looking to do that, so let me see some questions. Someone wrote, how does Source Connect work? Is it a subscription? Source Connect is one of, oh, wow, there's a lot of, wait, someone has a lot of links here. John K, is that? Source Elements, wow.
John K, okay.
Wow, cool. Yeah, there might be a lot of stuff there to download. Source Connect is remote connectivity software. Source Connect is like Zoom, basically, but made for audio only. And because it's audio only and it's made for a recording program or for recording projects, the latency is almost, I don't know, almost 0, which means you don't really get delays. So Source Connect is a great way for client and voice actor to connect with each other. Rather than Zoom, they can connect by Source Connect. And usually a lot of studios will pay for a subscription. I think last time I looked, Source Connect has 3 different versions out now, right? There's my Source Connect, Source Connect Now. Anyone know the three types? Source Connect, yeah, whatever. There are 3, and they each have a different level.
It's Nexus
I
now.
thought they
and
did
4.
away with Source Connect now.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Source Connect Pro.
Maybe the now is gone. I don't know. Maybe now it is. It was then. Source Connect then. It was. Yeah, whichever. Yeah. But Source Connect has been popular for years. IPTTL. There are a bunch of different applications out there these days.
If you're gonna get high level representation, you basically must have Source Connect. It's non-negotiable for a lot of agents.
Yeah.
Most have them.
Yeah, Source Connect was the biggie for a long time when ISDN kind of went away. ISDN was similar technology, but just for went through utility poles, like through an ISDN wire, like you could see wrapped around like from pole to pole. That was the older technology. And now if we kind of went from that to Source Connect, and now we're in a world of lots of different softwares. Okay, last question. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Oh my goodness. Okay, or 9 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, I want to thank Keisha, first of all, for giving us her time, showing us her studio, telling us about her very awesome moving blankets. That really looks great. Love it. And your sound is so good. You do such good work. I've heard her recordings. Her voice is just great on microphone. One of the nice things about her is that she reads so naturally when she reads, when she is recording. It's great. She sounds like her. She's able to read without tension, which is so nice. So thank you, Keisha. And this episode will be posted on our webpage in a few days. I want to thank everyone out there. Everyone. It's truly a thank you to everyone. And I want to call out a couple of people specifically who offered extra information today. Sandy, Terry, a bunch of people really offered. Was it Trevor who had told us about that keyboard that's silent? All of you rock. Thank you. It was awesome. It's good to see some of you. It's great to see the studios and everything. We'll be back next month, the 2nd Tuesday of March, and we'll probably have 2 voice actors again on that day. Typically we have 2, but I kind of like this format, doing 1 voice actor and a Q&A. I don't know. We'll see in the office what we do next month, but we will be back. Thank you so much for the information, Keisha. We'll talk soon.
Yes, absolutely.